Hey, Granny Gear here for 20inches.com. Well, you can see behind me I've got the spot rocker out for a morning spin. It's well, you think it says it's autumn according to the calendar, but in Southern California standards it's been about 98 last 2 days, and still pretty warm this morning, so if I sweat into the camera you'll have to forgive me. But I want to talk a little bit about how it's been riding the spot, talk a little bit about the Gates carbon belt drive and this new CenterTrak version, and just kind of give my thoughts about it. So this morning I'll spend a little time shooting with the camera and talking, and I think the next time I do this I'm going to find a shadier spot. So we'll get back and we'll talk about the spot rocker. Alright, so what's this spot rocker all about? Well, it's certainly all about steel. In this case, True Temper OX series tubes, nicely put together by hand in Golden, Colorado. I would guess it's a pretty lightweight tube set. I mean, considering this bike build without a single carbon piece on it other than the strands that are in the belt drive, came out to 24.5 pounds with SPD pedals and not really racy tires. So really that's a fighting weight, and certainly felt great on the trail, and certainly a raceable weight bike too. So that's a nice tube set, and it rides really well. It is very smooth. The surprise to me was how nicely it pedaled when you really were on it in a difficult situation. It really shot forward better than probably any steel bike I've ridden, which sometimes tend to feel a little bit boggy at the end of when you're really on them at low RPMs. This really didn't that much. It really snapped along, so that's nice. And you know what, you expect that because this is not an inexpensive frame. It's somewhere around that $1,400 range, so this is a premium level steel frame, there's no doubt about it. And lately I've ridden quite a few, say, frames that cost half that in steel. And well, is it worth it? Well, that's the question. Let's take a look at it in detail. So the question of whether it's worth it or not is really a bit of an esoteric one. Is it half as light? Is it half the weight, I should say, of a $600 frame? No, it's not. Is it twice as fast? No, it's not. But what it is just incrementally improved in lots of places. Like I said, it is a bit smoother. It's a bit lighter. It's as stiff, if not stiffer. It pedals better than probably any other steel frame I've had, especially when you really load it up. And you know, those little increments add up to a nicer experience on the trail. And then when you factor in the dropout system, which is very well done, also splits and comes apart, allows for that Gates carbon belt drive, which we'll talk about in a second. You know what, that's a little extra work in this frame, and you know, is it worth it? You have to decide that, but you certainly are getting a high level performance for your money. You can be assured of that, even though it's not full custom. But honestly, very few people truly need a full custom bike. And so in this case, you're getting a custom level construction and tube set. You're just not getting custom length tubing and angles and things. It's basically going to be off the rack. But it's a very good geometry and setup, and I think they walk that middle line very well. The component build on this bike at the $3,600 price level was very solid. The Reba fork, 100 millimeters of travel, the motion control damper. It had the 15QR, the Maxwell light system in it, which is very convenient, very stiff. The Sun Ringlay wheels, the Charger Pros, with the blingy red hubs and the straight pull spokes, very nice. Also came to me set up tubeless, because basically they licensed the Stan's rim bead seat technology, so tubeless setup is dead easy. Although you might find that some of the new tires, the new UST type tires with a tighter bead seat dimension, may not fit this rim just like they do on the Stans. I didn't try it, but I'm suspecting that's true. Beyond that, pretty solid mix of Truvative, some stylo, bars, stem, seat post, all did their job really well. And to top it off, I put my favorite seat in the world, a WTV Pure V. So let's talk a little bit about the heart of the matter here, the belt drive. To be or not to be, that's the question. You know, Guitar Ted and I have been outspoken, if not really opponents, but critics for certain of the belt drive. We felt that it wasn't ready, it was not ready for prime time on a hardcore single speed. Sure, for a commuter, no doubt. But there were just too many issues in setup. It was finicky. Gearing was limited. The frames weren't necessarily designed well around it, and yada yada yada. There were some things that we just couldn't bless it. However, this is really a home run. The second generation. The CenterTrak solves a lot of the problems with the wider belt, with the groove tooth pulley, the new pulley design in stainless steel. Lots of little improvements that just tweaked it up to the point where, with one caveat, and we'll talk about that more when we do the written review. It was superlative. Superlative, there's a word. It was really great. And it's light, it performed well, it just did its job. And I'll tell you what, it's at the point where I would seriously consider, if I was buying a high-end frame, I'd want it to be able to take a belt if possible, because it's that good. So put it all together and out on the trail, what do you get with the spot rocker? Well, you get a very, very competent all-day geometry. I never got tired of it. It never scared me and never disappointed me either. It just went down the trail, went on the fire out. It's surprising how fast you can go downhill on this. It's very steady, very smooth bike. All the components on it worked. It's an excellent, really an excellent choice for just an all-around steel single speed. Could it be a race bike? Absolutely it could. Is it as snappy as the new carbon stuff? No, it isn't, but it's a steel single speed. Chances are, if you're looking for carbon, you're probably not looking for this either. So, but for the people that appreciate the fine ride of a nice tuned steel bike and don't want to wait for a year for a custom frame, but you want all the other goodies and the belt intrigues you, you really need to look at the spot rocker. It's well worth your time. We've enjoyed it, and go check them out. Granny Gear here.